Welcome to Shot Recap. Today's movie is Braid, a story about three longtime friends caught up in the same dangerous game they've been playing for years. In the woods, a car sits with its doors wide open and the trunk popped. Nearby, three women are digging a hole. Their faces are hidden behind masks and sunglasses. Once the hole is deep enough, they drop in several bags, their hands smeared with blood. In the next scene, Patul and Tilda are tallying up how much dope they've got and calculating its street value, all while snorting lines of coke. But before they can enjoy dreams of easy money and tax-free profits, someone pounds on the door, yelling, "Open up, police!" Figuring that opening the door isn't the smartest move, the girls climb out the window onto the fire escape and take off, putting distance between themselves and the cops. All would be fine, except they left behind nearly $100 grand worth of product, and now the pills are being examined by forensics. Trying to fix the mess, Tilda lifts a wallet from a random woman on the train, while Patul gives the dealer a full rundown over the phone. The conductor asks her for a ticket, but since she doesn't have one, she ends up paying in a different way, though the payment turns out to be a bit different than one might expect. The conductor gives in to her control and starts licking her feet. After settling the score, Petula freshens up in front of a mirror. Flashes from her distant past flicker in her mind, playing with a toy train set as a kid, running around near an old mansion. Once they reach their destination, the girls start discussing their next move. Some homeless guy near the station laughs at them and says, "Witches always come back here." Meanwhile, they've got just 2 days to get back to the dealer and pay up for the lost stash. The plan is to sneak into the mansion of Daphne's wealthy childhood friend. Somewhere inside that house is a safe full of cash, but to get in, they have to follow one rule. They have to play house with the host. According to Daphne, the game works like this. She plays the mom, bringing her daughter Tilda to see the Dr. Patul. Now, as adults, it's crucial to follow the whims of their eccentric host to the letter. Changing clothes right in the back of the cab, Tilda puts on a schoolgirl uniform and heads to the mansion. She walks into the kitchen and greets Daphne not by name, but by calling her mom. While mom bustles around, trying to feed her daughter, the con artist quietly scans the room, sizing up where the safe might be hidden. Meanwhile, Patul, playing the role of the doctor, gets ready to join the game. She hides their phones in the mailbox and gets ready for the voyage with her medical bag, mentally going over the rules. There are only 3. First, everyone plays. Second, no outsiders. Third, you can't leave the game. The rules are stitched onto a piece of fabric hanging in a frame on the wall. Tilda is eating the sandwiches mom made when out of nowhere, she gets scolded for her dirty, overgrown nails and not brushing her teeth. She grabs a giant pair of scissors, ready to cut Tilda's nails, terrifying her in the process. What saves the con artist is a knock at the door. It's Dr. Piddle. The friends put on a show for their host, staging a mock checkup, ending with a reminder that everyone has to play. Daphne isn't impressed by the half-hearted exam of her so-called daughter, so she insists on something more thorough, which quickly turns into torture. Instead of a reflex hammer, they have to use a meat tenderizer, smashing Tilda's knee open and drawing blood much to the host's twisted delight. Children's drawings hang on the wall, one of which depicts the recent exam. The rest are downright disturbing, showing police cars and bloody people on an operating table. The caring mom invites the doctor to dinner. After preparing a strange soup, she serves it to Patul and her daughter, who's tied up with ropes, but soon she offers to escort the tired doctor to her room. Tilda is left alone, overwhelmed by memories that feel like hallucinations. Lying on the bed, Patul hears a noise and goes to check it out. She finds Daphne in the kitchen, taking pills. The host picks up a knife from the sink and, gently stroking the doctor's neck with it, asks her to stay, saying it makes her feel calmer. Then she kisses her friend, and together they act out a sex scene on the table, pretending to be with a male doctor. The next morning, Tilda tries to pick the lock on the mailbox. Her partner catches her in the act. Tilda wonders how much the host paid for the doctor's visit, but the envelope only contains a hand-drawn picture of money. This drives Tilda mad, but they still have 28 hours left to find the safe. To calm down, Tilda pops some pills, thinking she's taking Vicodin, but it's not painkillers at all. The girl starts to trip. She sees herself and her friends as children. Patul also takes a pill and heads into the house. Tilda chases after the little girls she's seeing. She runs around the mansion, drenched in acid colors, barely aware of what she's doing. Memories haunt her. There they are, the girls in a treehouse. She starts arguing, fed up with the silly game. After a challenge, Tilda pushes her, misjudging the force. The host falls down. The flashback continues. The girls are in a hospital hallway talking about what happened. The doctor says that because of the severe abdominal injuries, Daphne is unlikely ever to have children. In the next scene, adult Daphne stands in front of a closet stuffed full of pregnancy tests. High and disoriented, Petula creeps through the mansion, gripping the walls for support. She's hallucinating, imagining herself on a train. After struggling to find the car keys in the host's bedroom, the con artist rushes outside to catch up with her friend. She drags her to the car to leave, but Daphne appears wielding a baseball bat and knocks both of them out with blows to the head. Detective Siegel is getting ready for another day on the job. He tries to eat leftovers from yesterday, or maybe even the day before, then gets into his police car. Dangling from his keychain is the same childhood toy the girls gave him years ago during questioning. At the station, wanted posters for 2 female drug dealers hang on the wall. Over the phone, he says he'll personally take on the case. Daphne sits on the floor next to 2 girls tied up with a rope that looks like a long braid of hair. The girls struggle to free themselves and try to speak, but the gags stop them. Their sounds irritate Daphne, who yells at them, calling herself their mother, but the doorbell's chime interrupts her. At the door stands Detective Siegel, drawn by neighbors' complaints about strange noises sounding like women's screams. Daphne admits the strange noises are due to a new medication she's still getting used to. She tries to send the detective away, but he spots water dripping from the ceiling and bluntly suggests checking out the leak. A conversation starts. It comes out that Daphne's grandparents recently passed away. Then Siegel notices an old photo of Daphne with her childhood friends. He asks what happened to them, but Daphne admits she's no longer in touch. She loses her temper, reacting way too strongly and emotionally. The detective senses she's hiding something and asks where the others are. Daphne refuses to answer, but then a noise comes from the second floor. A man tries to check it out, but is stopped by a shout demanding to see a search warrant. Surprisingly sharp for a self-proclaimed city crazy, Daphne explains to the detective why he should leave. He's close to retirement, and there's no reason to risk his reputation with a false search complaint. Daphne carefully boards up the windows to make it harder for any escapees to get inside. Meanwhile, Petal and Tilda scour the house looking for the safe. They meet in the dining room, where the host announces she wants to play a game and recites a riddle in verse. If the guests win, she'll take all the blame. If they lose, a grave will be dug. Petul doesn't understand what that means, but Tilda convinces her to keep searching for the safe using the clues while she keeps Mom distracted. Petul rushes through the mansion until she finds a safe built into the wall. Using the numbers from each clue, she manages to open it. Inside is Daphne's inheritance. She finds Tilda, and together they leave the house in the middle of the night. The women head to the highway, trying to flag down a ride, but no one wants to pick up hitchhikers. Exhausted, Tilda sits down on the roadside to rest, which sparks an argument. During their argument, Petul gets hit by a car. In the next scene, she wakes up chained to a stretcher chair, while Tilda sits in a small wooden cage, no bigger than a crib. Daphne admits that this night reminds her of when she poisoned her grandparents, who were planning to commit her to a mental hospital. Then she slashes Petul's face and drugs Tilda. A homeless man, the one Petul and Tilda met near the station, is brought into the police station. He says he saw the missing girls with a flyer. They looked like crack-addled mermaids. Daphne tells her guests the game is over and they're now free, but there's a catch. Their photos are plastered in every newspaper. The police are after them for drug trafficking, though their fresh scars might make them unrecognizable. The host urges them to leave quickly, saying she still has repairs to do before the baby is born. Tilda snaps at her, calling her crazy and reminding her she can't get pregnant because of her injury. Daphne denies reality, claiming the doctor is the father. At this point, Petul, who's been silent until now, steps in. She puts on her doctor act again and asks the host to come to the office. The topic is pregnancy, and surgery might be needed. The mansion's owner lies on the operating table while the con artists, dressed in surgical gear, prepare for the procedure. Meanwhile, Detective Siegel arrives at the house. He hears music and starts searching the place, weapon drawn. The officer manages to enter the makeshift operating room just as one of the girls raises the scalpel over Daphne's body. With a gun pressed request to them, he pushes them away from the table, ordering them to raise their hands and get on their knees. But as he steps closer, Daphne suddenly jumps up and stabs the detective in the back with the scalpel. He falls, and Tilda and Daphne finish him off, turning his body into a bloody mess under Petul's stunned, horrified gaze. Daphne hands Petul a meat tenderizer, inviting her to join in the killing. When Petul brings the first blow down on the lifeless body, they become bound by a shared murder. The next scene is the very beginning, the three girls burying the dismembered body in a hole in the woods before heading back to the mansion. Out front, a police car is still parked. They drive it to the pond and push it into the water. Sometime later, the three sit down to dinner as if nothing happened, continuing their twisted game of mom, daughter, and doctor. The characters' behavior spirals out of control. Tilda throws tantrums like a spoiled child. Petul manages to cut her own face while shaving, and Daphne's grip on reality slipped away a long time ago. That train's long gone and not coming back. At one point, Petul starts having hallucinations. She sees a bloodied detective Siegel. Later, she finds a childhood toy in the mailbox, the very same one they once gave the cop. She digs up the detective's grave, but finds no bones there. Back at the house, the con artist collapses, exhausted, and falls asleep. She dreams of the train that brought them here, all its passengers, either sleeping in unnatural positions or dead. When she wakes, she finds a book under the couch describing the last event of her life, but framed as rules for a game. A flood of vague memories washes over her, including how her friends used to torment her. She can't remember how long she's been here this time. She always runs away from the mansion, only to come back once she forgets. The number of times she's escaped can be counted by the scars on her arm. Daphne left one mark for each escape. Petul rolls up her sleeves, revealing a dozen scars underneath. She wants to run, but in the doorway, she bumps into Tilda. Her friend takes charge, ordering her to go to her room, and Petul obediently complies. Petul begs her friend to leave when the dealer calls. Tilda answers, but her entire spiel about the police raid is so rehearsed, she's forgotten the dealer's face she's trying to explain to. Worse yet, she doesn't even know what day it is. Tilda convinces Petul to come with her. They head to the nursery, where a toy train runs on a looped track, and near a miniature replica of the mansion sits a toy police car. Meanwhile, Daphne paints in a sketchbook using paints labeled Siegel. But that's not the end. As the poem is recited, Tilda slits her wrists in the bathroom. Petul hangs herself in her room, and Daphne drinks poison in the kitchen. The final scene shows the abandoned, overgrown mansion. Only in the kitchen, an elderly woman washes dishes, just like Daphne once did. The sound of a door opening, and a woman's voice can be heard.
Hi, Mom.
That's where it ends. Thanks for watching this deep dive into Braid. What did you think of the film's dark twists and unsettling ending? Share your thoughts and theories in the comments below. I'd love to hear your take. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell to catch more intense movie recaps like this one. See you next time.